social media. I'm Nathan Condren. It's two Nathans.
No, I'm not fucking Nathan. No, thank you.
So that's the point we have to explain today. Who is Nathan? That's me. And what can I do for social media through science for you? First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit
I am
about
your
my
Lord
life.
Jesus Christ.
I'd like to start off saying that I've been studying at the University of Queens in Kingston, Ontario, studying mating rituals, mating patterns.
I'm sorry for all the floods in the world. I was the one who created Moses and his ark and all his fucking pets.
So we're going to start first with our brief introduction into the history of the world and where we might be right now as time goes in and out of the ebb and flow of here and now. At one time, as is told in the Bible, many men were strict homosexual servants of their fathers and forefathers. And I took a look from the scientific approach to see what effect this had on the gene pool as women matured. And I specifically looked at the interaction between the complete absolution of a man's desire as a homosexual to not be with a woman, to deny his body's energy, to deny his body's knowledge, his soul, his being, his love for a woman, and what this effect would have on the remaining population of women who claimed, like these men, to only love a man and not be bi-curious or polyamorous in their families, except for a love for man. What I found was intriguing. The more a man served his own race in hatred of a woman's body for how it betrayed his understanding sexually of what it meant for him to be happy, when he could not focus enough to leave his interpretation of how his body feels in life with what his action is, that he perceived he could not feel the love for a woman because of he thought her body was just not suited for what it was truly being used in their actions and thoughts, feelings, and religious activities.
Thank God he's not fucking God.
So what I discovered was that the more men that were dying from a homosexual servant of a race reclamation that went completely backwards. We had a race of men that were so angry at women for bearing children from sexual activity, as science taught us, of an intercourse leading to a baby that would have to be fathered by the father and the grandparents, and their love only extended to the youngest women who were innocent in mind, and they couldn't betray them or feed on them and make them feel like, oh, my body is useless because I, the woman, and I, the man, the eyes were forgotten.
Get that salmon friggin' thing up there, man, for your butt.
So what I found out was very disturbing to me. I was finding that evolution, as we understand it, of the races, which in reality, as we understand race, as you know, African and Korean and Chinese, European, Asian, North American, Native, African, these races, as we just described them, almost describe that the penis being was considered a thought so wrong that it was almost removed within an adaptation of people's understanding of what it meant to talk about. And we were being left with a society that was always thinking about us, about men, but what they didn't know was they had no idea that these people like me and Murray were alive, and they were saying that because of our look as handsome, was an interpretation of our bodies being the same as a vagina.
I'm just fucking dog ugly, motherfucker.
What we're understanding now is the point of our race was to overcome personal boundaries, to see what kind of families would happen. People that I visited and spoke to were often homosexual, were often servants of the Dark Lord Jesus Christ, and all these ideas.
The Dark Lord? What kind of fucking Lord have you been talking about?
The forgotten man, you know, the man behind a woman's mask. But that's not the point. The point was, when faced with sexual imagination of what it meant to have a marriage, and this is simple because a penis goes into a vagina and a vagina goes onto a penis and both feel good. This is what people understand in the present. So what we don't understand is, why were these races so blindly, maybe it wasn't blindly, because as I understood it, I always saw women as attractive. Vagina beings to me were attractive as a woman, and I desired to find the right one to make my wife, and that's all I understood. Because I wasn't a homosexual man. I was understanding that.
No, this guy is fucking fucking confused, man.
What we had was men caring for women and women caring for men, but what we didn't have was an understanding between the actions, sexual pleasure, and love, lust, romance, intrigue, camaraderie. That wasn't there. It was simply, I serve your look, from our point of view. From a man to a woman, it was, we serve your look. Now, because I'm not on the other side of that as an expert being a woman, I can't speak to what I look like, to what I would be to them. The idea I had, though, is that I know that from my brothers that look like me, that I'm a brother to people like me, because all the women I see have vaginas. So they're an optional mate to me. I liked them and I treated them well. That wasn't what we were seeing in the response of the homosexual servants of the forefathers of a race where innocent women, children, where the epitome of sex should be reborn or kept innocent, because this value of innocence was almost overlapping into an idea that sex was permissible if it was with a younger preteen woman, often that hadn't even experienced sexual acclimation to their genitals. As an older woman grows older, she desires sex. Well, she will always desire sex. We know this. They're the same as a man, even though the morphology and the motion is different. But what we're interested in finding out is, how much has the homosexual degenerate brain, as it dies in the presence of our women in the world, how much is this influencing the deterioration of the family of multiple women, multiple vagina beings with a single man, as we understood love as a family in my home? So, what we're understanding now is women that are being born are innocent and have the option of forming into one of these two kinds. But the women that were forming into male-only lovers seem to be somehow linked to a continuing idea of reward mechanism involved with engaging in destroying someone like ours live sexually, and then using them as a reward, serving them as a homosexual man would, without a family of women to feel good about. And that's what we were studying at the University in Queens. So I hope you'll check out our next video as soon as it's ready, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I have my cigarette, and we'll see you for the next installment of Science and How It Affects Social Media. Thank you.